Hello and welcome to another episode of Junkyard Engine Hunting. Today we head to Orlando to find a prized, rare example. It's like a freaking one of those Discovery Channel shows. So yes, we are headed to Orlando. We are gonna go pick up, we already bought it, a motor for the LS Miata. So this is kind of like a rare bird. It is a tough engine to find. It is a truck motor, but it's an aluminum block high output one. Give you guys some more info when we get there. So yeah, it's basically the same motor we bought last time. Hopefully this one's solid. It's got 120,000 miles on it. We're hoping for the best. A lot of people did say in the last video, why don't you just go to a junkyard and pull a motor yourself? would absolutely do that. The only problem is this engine came in only the 0607 Silverado 1500 extended cab short bed full-wheel drive. It's the only vehicle it came in, and it only came in about 10% of those. So to find one in the junkyard is kind of tough. It's not just like picking up a random iron block 5.3. We were looking for a very specific engine. The only other option we have truck motor wise is like an Envoy or a Trailblazer 5.3 aluminum block, because if we were to put an iron block in the Miata, it's much heavier. So we don't want to do that. So yeah, we bought it. We're hoping for the best. We are headed down there now. Should get there around 4 o'clock. And we're just gonna hope that all is well and we can actually take it home. I'm actually gonna check this one out well this time before I leave with it. So if it's not up to standard, we just bail on it. But anyway, I'll update you guys when we get there. We made it.
How's it going?
I ordered an engine a few days ago. A lot of engines. Here she is, folks. $799 heads. It's kind of interesting. So, road trip thoughts. Didn't give you guys any on the drive, but I was thinking about them. So, my dad's dream was always to sail around the world when he retired. That was like his thing. He loved sailing, he loved the water, he loved the ocean, and that was always his thing. And because of that, it was kind of my thing. And he never was able to do it. And then at one point I remember thinking, was that ever my dream? Was that just his dream? Is that something I really would be interested in doing, you know? And I wasn't sure. And then I happened upon this YouTube channel, SV Delos, and it's an eclectic mix of people that are sailing around the world, have sailed around the world many times, and it is like fascinated me. And now all I can think of is like buying a sailboat and sailing around the world. So let's just think about how cool it'd be, like sail to New Zealand, go New Zealand drifting, sail to Australia, you know, and just experience the whole world. So my question is, how many of you have sailed frequently, anything along those lines? And have any of you sailed around the world or sailed, you know, crossed an ocean or anything like that? I'm really curious, you know, if any of you have ever done that or interested in that and whatnot. If I ever got to do it, if I was ever able to do it, it wouldn't be for probably 5-10 years. But just, you know, it's little things like that that keep you going. Like, okay, if I can just save up enough money to buy a decent boat and have money aside for expenses, like, you know, that's my game plan. So anyway, so we have our engine. Some interesting things about it. I'll have to show you guys when I get it out, like marked on the back side of the heads. But what this is, did I tell you guys? I already told you guys. 5.3 L33 aluminum block, 799 heads, which are basically LS2 heads. Yes, LS2 heads. Second best, third best factory GM head. So it's got higher compression than my old engine. My old engine was like an Envoy engine, I believe LM4. So it was an aluminum block, but it was 9.5 to 1 compression, 862 heads. So this is 10.1 to 1 compression, 799 heads. Should be a solid 20 to 30 horsepower bump with everything else being the same, which is cool. I mean, the reason I went with this is because buying the same engine that I have is actually more expensive. Maybe I could have found one cheaper, but these were decently plentiful. This thing was $1,400, no core charge or anything like that. Really not a bad price, 120,000 miles on it. Does have some weirdness. You got some RTV poking through there. Like I said, on the back of the heads, the machining I'll show you guys. It looks clean. Obviously, I'm sure they pressure washed it, but you know, even so, either they're really good at cleaning or it was already decently clean to begin with. Anyway, got to do what we did last time. We got to pop the intake manifold off, slide it out, hook the chains up, and yank it out and get it on the stand. Well, my rivet nuts finally came in, so I was able to wrap the radiator fan shroud thing set up, wrap it up. So we got rivet nuts here, everything is solid, mounted very securely. Everything seems like it's sealed nice and tight. Came out solid. Really hyped on this, honestly. So I'm glad we got that done. I hate having like lingering unfinished projects that are like half done. So I'm glad that that's done. It's already getting late and I started a fire because I was cold. Check it out. And I want to play some iRacing, so we'll dig into this thing in the morning. I'll see you guys then. Keep in mind that this engine is really just a placeholder engine. We do plan on rebuilding the old engine, doing higher compression, bigger heads, you know, all sorts of stuff, like a really cool build. And I just want something to get the car up and running, work out the rest of the kinks with, so that when the other engine goes in, we don't have to worry about having any failures due to other systems being inadequate. We'll figure that out with this motor. And then ideally engine, for all you freaking nerds out there, it's an engine, a motor is electrical. So silly. And then obviously the goal would be to keep it alive, then we can pull it out and put it in something else down the road. So that's kind of the game plan. So keep in mind, we're not gonna go too crazy with this. We are gonna upgrade the oiling system, which I will tell you guys about later, depending on which route we go. We're pretty set on one, but it's a surprise. So anyway, other than that, we're doing gaskets, cam and spring combo, you know, and that's about it. Nothing too crazy. We're not gonna go through and rebuild it or anything like that. I feel like that's a can of worms. You start undoing rod bolts, you start taking heads off, and you just run the risk of putting it back together and having a leak because the head gasket didn't seal quite right because you didn't get all the material off the surface, or rod bolt stretching, you know what I mean? The point of buying a motor like this is so that it's together. So we're just gonna do minimal stuff, put it in the car. So, weird thing number one. This says LKQ, machined. Box says LKQ, machined, like machined into it. My thoughts are, this was an engine, like a reman LKQ engine. So does that mean that the engine has 120,000 miles? Or does that mean that it was just the truck that had 120,000 miles? Like, I don't know. I have no clue. That one kind of stumped me. And then if you look at this, this is what the 799 head casting normally looks like. This is what it looks like on my 862 heads. Like this kind of font, this size, how raised it is. Now look at this head, the one that has LKQ machines in it. It's like a different font, a larger size. It's got this like tab. I don't know if that means this is a aftermarket copy of a 799 head, or if this is like an older one, or what. Like I have no freaking clue. So if you guys know, I'm sure some of you know, let me know in the comments below. But all in all, it's dirty underneath. It had some mud like the other one. PCV had oil in it, like the other one. Basically the same thing as the other one. My life. This is my life. But we're gonna run it. Like I said, we're just gonna run it. It'll be fine. It is not a big deal. Let's get into the nitty gritty of it. Let's pull the valve covers off, pull the pan off, and take a look inside. See if we can get more of a story. That's one thing you never want to buy an engine based off its exterior cleanliness, because it doesn't really tell you much. Because like I said, they can pressure wash it. They clearly pressure wash this. You can see where it's like clean and then like clean where they got the pressure washer into, and then from like here to here it was super dirty, and then I cleaned it up some. So this side is normally the dirtier side because you have the PCV system on here. So this is what should be the less dirty side. It doesn't look bad at all, honestly. Let's see if I can get you guys some more light. Let's just go out here. There we go, now we can see everything. Yeah, it's really not bad. You can tell kind of like the color. You'll see there's this darker color around the rim and like down here. And if it's all that color, probably got higher mileage on it, but this one is mostly pretty white except for where the oil collects. This side, we got to turn for the sun. Active lighting situation. This side's really not that dirty either. It's nowhere near as dirty as my last one. My last one, this was like black. So, really not bad. There's some oil deposited on the springs and on the rocker arms, but overall looking pretty decent. Flip it over, pull the pan off. That'll tell the real story. Honestly, this thing looks pretty good. My old one was like, everything was stained dark black, whereas this one, there's only select stuff that's like dark black. Most of it's lightly colored. Just let me show you. See that kind of like mix of colors? See how it's dark, but it's also white? White is basically better. It's gonna be like less oil deposits and stuff. But all in all, it looks pretty clean. Does not look bad at all. We'll have to see the cam when we pull it out. Make sure none of the lifters are messed up. Cylinder wall looks good. That's obviously kind of hard to tell from the bottom side. The engine appears to be in really good shape, honestly. I'm really happy with it from what I'm seeing. I mean, I'm as confident as I can be to throw it in without physically like rebuilding it and going through everything, which again, the whole point of this engine is to avoid that. So there's no oil or there's no metal shavings in the pan. The inside looks good. The cylinder walls look good from what I can see from the bottom. There's not a huge, like, there's no real sludge or anything. It does look like a 120,000 mile engine or so. So I'm confident in it. Hopefully that doesn't come back to bite me, but I think we're just gonna send it. So yeah, we're waiting on the gaskets. Should be here in a day or two. I might throw the cam and springs in tomorrow. And then the oiling system, that's a big thing that we're kind of still up in the air on. So anyway, that's gonna be it for this video. Let me know what you guys think of the new engine. Are you excited for the Miata to be back up and running? If you are, like this video. I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching and for subscribing. Goodbye.